may be wondering how we got to this point, or maybe you know how we got to this point and you're just reminiscing before the big game on Saturday. Either way, I hope you enjoy watching my recap of the biggest upset in college football history. That intro is kind of cold, I know. I already know everybody clicked off after that trash-ass intro. It was just a joke, I promise. Before we get into it, I just want to give a big thanks to all the support on my last video. It really means a lot. I know this one's a bit different, but I have a lot more videos like the first one coming in the future. Anyways, now that's out of the way, let's talk about the game. Michigan-Ohio State, maybe the biggest rivalry in all of sports. In the last week of each season, they play each other in order to try to get the Paul Bunyan Trophy. But before this big game, there was 11 other games. So let's quickly go through how each team's season was leading up to this game. After coming off of a controversial national championship, Michigan had big hopes for the next season. Although they lost a lot of their big players, they believed they had the next great quarterback in Alex Orji. Michigan had also beat their rivals 3 times in a row, so they were on top of the world. Meanwhile, Ohio State was coming off of a bowl loss to Missouri, but they just restacked their roster with a bunch of new transfers, including QB Will Howard and running back Quinshon Judkins. Michigan played their first game against Fresno State, but it wasn't Alex Orji starting. It was instead former walk-on Davis Warren, showing early signs of a very bad quarterback situation for Michigan. They beat Fresno State 30-10, but Michigan really didn't look that great. In the victory, Davis Warren only threw for 118 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. However, Michigan's defense was clearly still very good. Flashing to Ohio State, they dominated their first game against Akron, winning 52-10, with transfer Will Howard looking like a star, as well as a new star emerging. Number 4 true freshman Jeremiah Smith would soon take the college world by storm. In the following weeks, Ohio State continued to crush their opponents, although not playing amazing opponents. Meanwhile, Michigan got absolutely destroyed by Texas. This Texas game showed the truth about Michigan. Whether Davis Warren or Alex Orji, this team did not have a viable quarterback. However, over the next 3 weeks, Michigan won 3 close games, looking very poor against Arkansas State, but then making a statement win against ranked 11 USC. Alex Orji started that game, and while he didn't look good, it's very hard to look worse than Davis Warren. Meanwhile, Ohio State continued their streak of dominance, destroying Marshall, Michigan State, and Iowa, remaining undefeated until they faced number 3 Oregon.
And Sappington puts Oregon in front. A lot of time coming off. Howard's going to run for it. Time runs out, and that'll do it.
Although they lost, Ohio State did not feel too bad about themselves, as a 1-point loss on the road against one of the best teams in the country is not something to be ashamed of. Meanwhile, Michigan went 1-4 in their next 5 games, losing to Washington, Illinois, Oregon, and IU, with their only win in that stretch being a 7-point victory over the Michigan State Spartans. This all led up to week 12. Each team had 2 games remaining. Ohio State was facing a red-hot IU team. Meanwhile, Michigan was facing a solid Northwestern squad. Although it was close in the first half, Ohio State absolutely destroyed Indiana, and Michigan had their best game of the season against Northwestern, winning 50-6. And by this point, Michigan had gone back to Davis Warren, and although he was fuck-ass, he was all they had, leading up to the game. Along the way, Michigan lost Colston Loveland and Will Johnson, arguably their 2 best players. Furthermore, they'd have to travel on the road to the Shoe in order to play Ohio State. Michigan, coming in at 6-5, were labeled as 21.5-point underdogs. People believed Ohio State would kill Michigan and end their 3-game win streak, bringing back the Bunyan Trophy. Alright, the stage is set. Now let's recap the game of 2024. Things started rough for Michigan. Not only did they lose the coin toss, but the return man muffed the opening kick before recovering it and bringing it to only the 9-yard line. And on their first drive, Michigan made it clear what they were trying to do. They were going to run the ball whether it worked or it didn't. Michigan quickly got to a 3rd and 7, where Davis Warren actually threw a great pass, getting the first down. However, a few plays later, Ohio State got the stop. After a Michigan punt, Ohio State came out swinging, methodically moving the ball up until the red zone. But when faced with a 3rd and 5, Michigan got a much-needed stop, and Ohio State had to settle.
Jaden Fielding coming in to attempt the 29-yarder. Got it up, and Ohio State is on the board first.
On Michigan's next drive, they trudged forward for a few first downs to bring up 3rd and short, but it wasn't Davis Warren in the game.
He'll run it, gets outside, picks up the first down and more. Orgy with a burst. Orgy all.
After a big run from Alex Orgy, Michigan found themselves in Ohio State territory. They proceeded to inch forward until this happened.
Warren. Pressure. Fires. And caught.
Now faced with the 4th and short, Michigan had a decision, and they decided to go for it.
Straight ahead. I don't know. Ohio State looks like they turned him away.
Ohio State got the ball back and had all the momentum. That was until
Howard, 3rd down and 9 at the 4. Howard throwing out of his own end zone, and it's picked up down the sideline. Michigan has it inside the 5.
this time Michigan was not going to get stopped, punching the ball in and taking the lead 7-3. On Ohio State's next drive, they finally started to air the ball out. This all happened up until it was 3rd and short, when a game-changing play happened.
For Ohio State, Howard looking for that first down. Oh, he gets crushed. Makari Page.
After this play, Will Howard got sent to concussion protocol, and backup QB Devin Brown had to come into the game. Ohio State would convert the 4th down, though, putting themselves in great position to score. And not too long after, Will Howard came back on the field. However, many still theorize that he was actually concussed. From this point on, Michigan was able to get another stop and made Ohio State settle again.
Last week against Indiana, a 45-yarder. He's kicked a 29-yarder already. And this one, a 38-yarder, wide right. Ohio State comes up empty.
After a missed field goal, Michigan had all the momentum. Following the missed field goal, Michigan was able to get about 30 yards, lining themselves up for a big kick. The kicking in this game was one of the biggest factors, as Michigan's Zavada's leg was red hot compared to Fielding being ice cold. However, Ohio State wasn't going to go away. They had their best drive of the game, marching the ball through the air and getting a pass interference to set them up in the red zone, where Jeremiah Smith tied the game up and definitely did not commit offensive pass interference. Going into halftime, it was 10-10, and the game started slow in the second half, up until Ohio State put together a great drive and were again in the red zone, bringing up a crucial 3rd down.
3rd and 7 at the 16. Howard goes through his progressions underneath. Oh, almost intercepted. And it is intercepted. Makari Page.
However, Michigan's celebration did not last long, as this happened just a few plays later.
Warren under pressure, and he throws an interception. Caleb Downs.
However, Michigan was able to get another stop, because after this drive it was clear not only was Ohio State playing very conservative, they were playing scared, and Ohio State had to settle for another field goal. Well, at least they thought.
This one from 34 yards away. And he hooked it. No good. Wow.
When Michigan got the ball back, they put a few plays together, getting a few first downs until this happened.
When they need it. Warren rolls out. Warren throws on the move. And it's a catch. When you talk about a guy who has faced adversity in his life. Whoa, what a catch.
After this spectacular O'Leary catch, Davis Warren rushed for a first down, and then Michigan got a pass interference to bring them within the red zone. After another first down, Michigan had the game in their hands, but they threw it away.
Warren looking, and it's intercepted at the goal line. Unbelievable. Wow, Jack Sawyer, the hero.
Jack Sawyer got an interception, and Gus Johnson had an orgasm, and Ohio State had life again. But Michigan's defense came up clutch once more, bringing Ohio State to 4th and 1, where they had no option but to punt. Michigan received the ball at their own 45 and did just what they had been doing all game, run the ball down Ohio State's throat. This is until it got to be 3rd and 6.
Can't turn it over. They'll hand it off. And look at the second effort. Mullings down the sideline, out of bounds at the Ohio State 15.
Michigan found themselves once again in the driver's seat. Michigan's main focus was to burn Ohio State's timeouts and wind the clock down, as Michigan believed they had a kicker that could actually make chip shot field goals. And Michigan did just that, making Ohio State burn all of their timeouts and winding the game clock down to 1 minute. On 4th and goal, Michigan decided to kick.
Good snap, clean hole, got it up, and good. And Michigan takes a third.
Michigan once again had the lead as a 21.5-point underdog, but the game wasn't over. The most explosive offense in the country had another chance to win the game. With 1 minute left and 0 timeouts, there came the Buckeyes. After an incomplete pass, Will Howard then threw another 1-yard check down. But on 3rd down, Will Howard threw a dime to the mascot sitting on the sidelines. And finally on 4th down, this happened.
For Ohio State, Howard in trouble. Incomplete. Ohio State turns it over on downs.
As a 21.5-point underdog on the road with a walk-on QB that used to have cancer, and without their 2 best players, Michigan was still able to beat Ohio State for the 4th time in a row. And I am not clickbaiting when I say I think this is the greatest upset in sports history, because Michigan had absolutely nothing going for them. I get there's been bigger upsets according to spreads. I get that Michigan is still a big-time school, but Ohio State went on to win the national championship, and Michigan was dog-ass, and they still won. And don't get me wrong, I hate Michigan, but watching Ohio State play like a bunch of little pussies brings nothing but joy to my heart. And that's how we got to this moment. Alright, thanks for watching. I have a lot of things planned. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for all the support. Also, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving.